going to do the Denver Broncos. All right. The head coach, Vic Fangio, he's entering his third season, and it might be his final one. It all depends on they don't have a stable quarterback position, but not a lot of teams do. If usually a coach and a quarterback go hand in hand. So not having a quarterback, it could cost a head coach's job. So I don't think if he can't get them to the playoffs or near it, I think he's out of there. The offense, the quarterback position is a mess. We just found out that the quarterback was close. Battle was close all camp, but they're starting Teddy Bridgewater. We'll definitely get to Craig's thoughts on that when that comes up. They got a good defense. He doesn't turn the ball over. A good offense. So, we'll see. Only time will tell. The running back position, Melvin Gordon. Enough said. He's a pretty good running back. The offensive line, they have Dalton Reiser, Garrett Bowles, and Bobby Massey. So they're a decent offensive line. Actually, the offensive side is pretty good for the Denver Broncos. Tight end, they got Noah Fant. Wide receivers are stacked. Cortland Sutton, KJ Hamler, Jerry Jeudy. This could be one of the best receiving corps, but who's throwing them the ball? Defensive line, they got Mike Purcell, DeMonte Jones. They're going to hold down the middle. The outside linebackers, you got Chubb and Von Miller. Now, if Von Miller comes back healthy, which I believe he is, it could be the best pass rushing duo in the NFL. And then, the middle linebackers, they're good. Alexander Johnson and Jose Jewell. If you have a great defensive line and a good back end of the defense, you just have to do your job in the middle. And then the defensive backs, they're loaded. They got Ronald Darby, Kyle Fuller, and they added Patrick Surtain, who is balling in camp. And then the safeties, they have Kareem Jackson and Justin Simmons. So their defense is loaded. My overall prediction, the Broncos, they have an interesting case with the quarterback because that's the only missing piece. Like, the offense is loaded. They have a good old line, a good running game, good receivers, good tight end. The defense are good on all facets. All three levels of the defense are good. They have a great pass rush and good corners that can play man. If the Broncos can get good quarterback play out of Teddy Bridgewater, then Fangio will still have a job. I'm predicting they go 8-9 or 9-8. All right, Corey.
All right, so for the Denver Broncos, coach Vic Fangio, I think everyone agrees he's a great defensive coach, great defensive mind. He's been a fantastic coordinator throughout his career. Time will tell if it'll work out as a head coach. The team has struggled during his tenure, but I also don't really think that you can lay that solely at his feet. But depending on how the season goes, James is kind of spot on there that Fangio could be the one to take the fall for a lack of playoffs this year. Offensively, I love their skill position talent. Cortland Sutton is a legit number one wide receiver. I hope he can come back from that ACL injury. The rest of the guys I got, Jerry Jeudy, Tim Patrick, Tyree Cleveland, Hamler, Fant, great all-around receiving weapons. Hopefully Bobby Massey can kind of stabilize the right tackle position and help settle that offensive line because Garrett Bowles came into his own, and they all around are pretty solid now. I don't know about their decision to let Philip Lindsay go. It was kind of came out of nowhere, at least for me. As we talked before, I love the way he runs. He was great in that offense, and it didn't seem necessary, but they do still have Philip Lindsay. I know Javonte Williams, I believe, the running back they drafted, has looked really good in camp as well. So everything's in place there. And as all that said, it comes out to the quarterback, obviously. So they just announced Teddy Bridgewater, the starter. Look, they took a chance on Drew Lock when he fell in the draft. The draft pick made a lot of sense for them. You know, just kind of low risk, high reward drafting him. It doesn't appear that that has worked out since he lost the job. Although honestly, I would have expected them to run with Lock if they're going to pass at a quarterback at 9 in the draft. So going with Bridgewater, I think that kind of shows that Teddy has a higher floor than Lock, and Fangio may be coaching for his job, so he's going that route. Defensively, the unit should be very good. If Von Miller can bounce back, I know Nick Chubb hasn't quite lived up to the number 5 billing, but he has been good. Kyle Fuller was a great addition for very little. That secondary should be absolutely fantastic. So a lot could end up being asked of this defense. I would say like the lone weakness is maybe the linebackers. It's the weakest part of the defense. Like Josie Jewell's okay. But when you have the pass rush that they can provide and that secondary, you can survive that. Overall, I think a lot like Carolina, for them, the decision to pass on Justin Fields as he fell in the draft could kind of hang over the Broncos. They're in a competitive AFC, in a competitive AFC West. So I'm not sure the ceiling for the Broncos with either of these two quarterbacks is high enough to get them into the playoffs. They might be holding out to make a run at Aaron Rodgers next offseason. There's a lot of buzz about it before the draft. But again, this team's going to go as far as the quarterback play takes them. For me, the real question for this team is going to be, does Vic Fangio take the fall for this front office being unable to find a quarterback since Peyton Manning? And I'm with James. I think he probably does. I got him at 9-8, and I'm not sure missing the playoffs again saves his job.
Good points. All right, Craig, Denver Broncos, man.
All right. Kind of agree with everybody about Vic Fangio. I think he's a solid defensive coach. Offensively, obviously, he's out of his league right there because of the issues on offense, especially with the quarterback. I do agree that he's on the hot seat this year, and it's kind of unfortunate maybe for him because I think he probably will. I mean, I know he will even win another year, especially if next year they can get Aaron Rodgers. Then obviously this stock goes way up, but he has to deal with the hand that he's dealt right now, which is Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock. Like clearly, I'm not high on Teddy Bridgewater. I wasn't high on him last year. I still am not. I don't know why. Maybe Joe feels a different way about it. But I'm just not high on Teddy Bridgewater. I saw what he did last year, and this year I don't think he's going to really do anything to wow anybody. He reminds me. I've said it. I don't know how many times. He reminds me of like he's a black Alex Smith. He's just a game manager to me, who's not really going to take any chances. He'll throw the ball over the middle a little bit and throw little short intermediate routes and whatever have you, and he's just not going to really put up big giant numbers. I think a lot of people were I guess going crazy over his record when Drew Brees was out with the Saints, and they kind of inflated his head, I guess, or overinflated his stock, and came kind of crashing down last year. Like he couldn't really get the job done in close games. And granted, CMC wasn't there, and the O line wasn't great, but he has to deal with it. And I just don't think he's the answer at quarterback. So I think these two guys at quarterback are going to cost Vic Fangio his job. I think the running backs are really good. I do like Williams, obviously. And Melvin Gordon, I think he's not going to be I don't think eventually he's going to be the starter. He's just going to be phased out to the number 2 role. But it's all there for Williams to start stepping up and become that number 1 running back there. And the wide receivers are solid and really, really good. If Cortland Sutton could come back, like Corey said, from the injury last year, the ACL injury, sky's the limit for him. He's a really good wide receiver. Jerry Jeudy came on last year with the bad quarterback play. KJ Hamler's there. He's a solid wide receiver as well. I like Noah Fant. at the tight end position. I think he's a top 10 tight end. I just think their offense has to get better. They were 25th last year in third down conversion or third down percentage, so that has to get a lot better. And Carolina was 24th, so if that makes any difference with Teddy Bridgewater coming in. So it's not going to be a good season for in my opinion. I think their offensive line is hit or miss. They have some decent names out there, but overall, I think the offense obviously hinges on the quarterback. To me, it doesn't matter who's at quarterback for this team. I just don't think neither one of them are capable of leading this team to a playoff run. The defense, though, on the other hand, like the defense is solid. It's the top 10 defense. Von Miller and Bradley Chubb leading the way on the edge, getting to the quarterback. Like these guys are these household names. These guys are really good. Their linebackers, they really don't have any flashy names, but these guys are solid linebackers. Josie Jewell, Alexander Johnson. So these guys, like, they're not really going to wow you as far as big numbers on the stat sheet, but they can play. And the secondary, Sertan, I like him. I really wanted Carolina to get him if they were going to get a corner. And I think Denver got a steal with him because he fell basically right to them. I know they could have got a quarterback as well, but as far as the pick that they actually made, I thought it was really good. Kyle Fuller, Ronald Darby, these guys are solid corners as well. Overall, I do think Denver has, like, I think if they had a better quarterback, obviously they would go, in my opinion, further into the well, I think they would make the playoffs. I don't really have them making the playoffs. I got them finishing 7-10. Like I said, it's just the quarterback position. If they can figure that out, maybe get a quarterback next year, go hard after Aaron Rodgers. With Teddy Bridgewater, man, he's just not the answer. And Drew Lock has shown you he's just not the answer in a tough position. But 7-10 for the Broncos.